Everything we're doing in modern tie-dye is primarily based off Procion dyes. They were invented in the 50s by ICI, and they are commercial dyes made for textiles. If you go back and look at some of the information that Paul Kenny put out, you'll see that a lot of what even the Pariah method was based off somebody going to these Procion commercial workshops and then applying it to tie-dye. There's a lot of what I'm doing that comes from that. I've done a lot of research. I read those research articles, so we're just applying it in a different way, okay? So what is a Procion dye? A Procion dye is a commercially made dye, specifically for natural fibers. Cotton is a natural fiber. Procion dyes do not stain the fabric. They bond with it molecularly. They form a covalent bond. And so when you finish tie-dye, it is permanent. If you do it well, you do it right, it's gonna stay there. This is the science, it's binary. Either the bond forms or it doesn't. But in here right now, sitting in here is all this dye. It's not bound. It's just floating in there in that fiber. And so we need to have it grab and become part of that fiber. And how do you do that is you activate it. Again, it's fiber, liquid, activation, cure. So now we're gonna activate it. And everything you see that we're gonna do in this series is activating it after the dye has been applied. Introducing it with the dye at the same time or after the dye is in the garment. All right, so the dye's in here. It's not bonded. How do we make it form that covalent bond? We have to activate it. Okay, we talked about the process being fiber, liquid, activation, and curing. And so we're gonna take this item here that has been dyed, has not been activated, and we're gonna demystifying activation. Okay, there's nothing to be scared about here. Soda ash is an alkaline, and so when you add it to the fiber, it raises the pH, it makes those molecules move around, they get happy, they start dancing, and that Procion dye can come in and form that bond with the fiber. Really, there's only a couple rules with soda ash in my framework. It can't be too weak, you can't be ginger with it, and it has to get where it needs to be. I also use warm soda ash. And so how I do soda ash, right here is 200 milliliters of tap water, well water. Doesn't matter, you're just going to raise pH, so the type of water doesn't matter. 200 milliliters of warm, hot tap water. This comes out of my tap at about 138 degrees. I actually think it's warmer as I activate it, so it's almost hot. Not necessarily, that's just my style. I feel like that just gives me a bit more bite and sets it a lot quicker, okay? So very simple, it cannot be weak. I've made that mistake, I've experimented. Weak soda ash will give you weak results. It'll look chalky, it won't be what you want, it will not be high chroma, okay? So I do 50 milliliters of water to 1 tablespoon of soda ash. You really can't go too strong. If you go too strong, it'll still be particulate in here when we're done, but it's gotta be strong, okay? So 200 milliliters, I typically will use on a trip style like this. I won't use 200 milliliters, but I might just today just to show you it can't hurt. Okay, so all I do is I got 200 milliliters of hot water here. I have a 1/4 cup of soda ash. All you do is you add the soda ash in. I typically, just because it's me, I will stir it up just a little bit to make sure it doesn't break. Sometimes it sits in it, it'll clump up. So just give it a stir to make sure it's moving around. Again, you can use this spoon the entire time. I've got one of these, it just makes it easy. I just give it a few. I'm just trying to mix it. I want to make sure that soda ash is mixed up with that water. And if you mix it long enough, it'll turn clear actually. And that's it. That's enough. It's mixed up. It's ready to go. Okay? Soda ash is caustic. Wear gloves. I should have eye protection on. You do not want this on your hands. You certainly don't want it in your eyes. It's devastating. You just don't want it to happen. So please take precautions. If you get it on your skin, wash it off. Okay? So we got 200 milliliters of warm soda ash. This is just a dye bottle. I'm going to take it and pour it in. Nothing to be scared of. Okay, we're done with that. You can see I didn't mix it enough. There's a little bit of soda ash in the bottom, not a big deal, but it makes no difference. And so, again, we've got strong soda ash now. We've got dye in here with the fiber. We need to activate it. And don't be shy, okay? The soda ash right here is not gonna change anything that's already happening here. It's not gonna move dye. It's not gonna muddle it. There is nothing the soda ash is gonna do to change what's already in here. It's going to lock exactly what is in here in place.
My formula for dye that I put out at first, it's like I'm dissolving things at the highest concentration I can before it starts to gloop out. Don't scrimp on the soda ash. You know, everything needs to be You know, because you see people do that. It's not pH, it's the concentration of sodium carbonate.
I did this experiment specifically for this section, okay? This is a tapestry I did, purposely built to prove that soda ash does not move dye. If you look at my reel on this, you'll see there's all kinds of white, and there's still all kinds of white. It didn't get muddled, the dye didn't get moved. It locked everything in there that was in place. There's nothing to be afraid of. You cannot hurt it with soda ash. But we have evidence, it's science. And so what I'm gonna do with soda ash, I'm just gonna be aggressive with it. I'm just gonna start, and here's a challenge. Don't forget where you start, because sometimes you get so involved and you're like, oh, which one did I do, which one I didn't do? And so you have to have some kind of system, certainly on this trip style. And these are thick, right? There's a lot going on here. And so we wanna make sure we get that soda ash all the way to the center. The worst thing that we can do right now is to not give it enough soda ash because it won't make it to the core and it won't lock in what's there and it'll wash out. And so I'm gonna start here at the top and you're gonna see, I'm gonna start and I'm gonna just give it a good, strong dose until it tells me it doesn't want any more. Then I might get a little bit more just because. And so you can see how that's fully saturated. That's done. It's fully saturated, it's glistening. You can put more on, it's not really gonna do anything, it's already to the center, and then I'll move on to the next. And I tend to do them from the top down sometimes, just to make sure it's driving it down the fiber. And we'll talk about fluid dynamics and dyeing later, but it makes sure that that soda ash makes it all the way to the core, and it runs down, and it's full, okay? That one I already did, I didn't remember, so I hit it again. You're not gonna hurt it. Again, it's not gonna change anything that isn't already there, it's just gonna lock it in. So don't fear it, hit it hard. You wanna fill them up because there's a little bit of air in there left, and then you're gonna fill that air with this soda ash. And that's a key point here too. We'll talk about it when we're dyeing, but if you oversaturate these with dye, the soda ash will not have an option to get into the fiber. And that's a very common mistake. And we'll teach you how to avoid that and how to read that. So again, I'm just filling it up. That one I hit already, this one, that one I already did. And so I'm just gonna give it the 1-2. I used to fear this all the time. This was very foreign to me. I thought, man, why am I gonna put all that liquid in there? And liquid's the enemy. It's actually not. Right now, it's your friend. And you can see it'll change color just a little bit. And you just don't have to be afraid. Just cover it. I always like to see those colors pop out like that. And if we do it right, that's what you're gonna see at the end. Look at that aqua in there, beautiful. And these center sections, you know, again, you're not gonna hurt it. Worst thing you can do is not give it enough soda ash. And that's it. That's activated. The soda ash is in there, it's activated, but as we talked about, there's a thermal reaction that's happening. The temperature is a variable, and we can let it sit there, but there's a catch. It's not fully bound yet, and that's where the cure comes in.